Hey everyone, it's me, Patchdam Boget. I figured that I'd make like a part two of my previous video some time ago called Joy of Satan, Whatever Happened. The reason being is that I actually came across the website. It's up and running. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's actually kudos for those who still believe in it and those who follow. But here's a correction. The site or the sister site of the Joy of Satan, which is the Yahoo groups, that is like forever gone. And I thought that was interesting because according to the belief system of the Joy of Satan group, they would want to believe that it is the Jews that basically taken down that sister site, and they are no longer actually available, or at least the Yahoo groups. But now my question is, being the fact that that has happened to them, does that mean that the Jews have won? I'm not too sure, because it's been a while since I've actually read an article from them, or I've even taken things as serious as to taking what they say to heart. Because even though, if you remember from my previous video, that particular group got me into Satanism, and I respect Maxine, who is the high priestess of that particular group, and I pretty much feel that she done a phenomenal job as far as the magic system is concerned, and the point of interest that she was able to inspire herself to become a better teacher, and how she's able to go about helping others to come to know Satan. Like, you have these individuals who will say that her teaching is plagiary, or she plagiarizes her information by other sources. Now, I'm not here to say that if it's true or not. I'm simply saying that whatever she's done by helping individuals to understand Satan more and how to go about doing things and outside the matrix and really identifying oneself with Satan, well, I wouldn't be here making these videos partially if it's not for her hard work. You know what I mean? It's like, it kind of reminds me of another group from Become a Living God. People do a lot on E.A. Coetting and what he has to say and what he does, but I'm giving an unbiased point of view of these particular groups, because honestly speaking, when I look at Become a Living God, they do such a good job regardless of the BS. I mean, hell, I'm starting to get BS my way too with these emails. Whoever these Christians are, even if they are Christians or not, it doesn't really matter to me. They give me the BS as well. You know, they just tell me that I'm someone who is just demonic and I'm evil, I'm the Antichrist, and I should go back to Jesus and this, that, and the dirt. And believe it or not, just keep it coming, because it just verifies that I'm doing the right thing. That makes me feel good that you even consider me the Antichrist. And I'm so fucked up that I should go to some Christ figure to be saved. So, cool. You know, if you feel that way, cool. But I'm doing the right thing, and it's really what I love to do. And that's the path that I walk, because when I look at other individuals, like I just mentioned, Maxine from the Joy of Satan, E.A. Coetting, or other groups that are out there, you have to like really do your own gnosis on what you want to intake. Because when I look at E.A. Coetting's work, he's not saying I am a messiah or you must follow me or else you die. It's like he's just simply sharing what he has to share, you know, like what he's learned. Those who appreciate it obviously subscribe, they put to practice what he has to share, and they got results, and there you go. And that's more or less the same when it comes to the joy of Satan. Except for I'm going to be outspoken in saying that I'm not a part of the group anymore, and I don't agree with the whole idea of being anti-Semitic. Like, I have to hate a particular group just because of their existence? Question mark. And I say question mark because I know I'm not the only one who was a part of that particular group who liked what was going on. The framework was okay up until that happened. You know, when you get into that portion, it becomes something altogether different. And if that's what is actually going on over there, then I can see why the particular sister group, the Yahoo group, have been shut down. I'm not saying it's for that particular reason. I'm saying that it's like karma. It's like what you put out there, you're going to get right back. And that goes for all of us, even with me. I look at what I do with my manifestation, my windfall. You see, 5 years in the making, and though I have not received my windfall, my manifestation, I realize that regardless of either it's white magic, black magic, a spell of prosperity, love spell, you're doing a ritual to bring forth the apocalypse, whatever have you, you're going to get some sort of response to what you're doing. And that's what happens in specifically demonic magic. You know, and either your world is going to fall apart. It's really up to you and what defines you and what you're going to do to come back and to be reborn anew in regards to that particular magic that you just performed. Because even though it's been about 5 years, I'm still doing it. I'm being patient. I'm manifesting continuously what I know to be my true will, my true path. Can someone like myself still believe, still continue to doing what I'm doing despite the backlash? And the answer is yes. And that's what I'm trying to say when it comes to the Joy of Satan site. You know, I mentioned other groups as well because regardless of who you are, regardless of the path you're on, the group you're basically a part of, you're going to have some sort of backlash. You know what I mean? It's like I'm practicing a little bit of Philema and learning about it. I know there's going to be parts of my life, either I am aware of it or not, it's going to unravel itself and come back at me. And that is expected because that's what magic is all about. It's a whirlwind. It's going to be chaotic. It's just what it is. And those who are not aware of it, they become taken by surprise and they hurt more because they most likely did not expect their particular demonic guardian angel, whatever it is you want to call it, to do that to them. But yet it must be done because this is the request that you've put forth into the universe, and you're going to get it right back. So my point is, either it's right or it's wrong, it's good, it's evil. It's really doesn't cooperate that way. It's not about good or evil, it's about results. See, it's like the universe is not going to see you and I as a moral agent. It's more amoral than anything. So in other words, regardless of the color of my skin, you being male or female, you part of the EA co-editing group, the JOS group, or even a part of this channel, it doesn't really matter. Even if you're a wicked person, if you're following the steps of what magic is all about, then you're going to get results. Now, it doesn't apply to all. Like what I'm trying to say is like if you work with someone, and what I mean by someone, I mean a particular deity, a dark divine that does not approve of the consumption of alcohol, obviously you want to do the opposite. You don't want to work with that particular demon and then do exactly what they don't want you to do and then expect to get what you want. You get what I'm trying to say? It's like what you want to do is think about it for a while. And you want to look at who it is you're working with, what their likes and dislikes are, and then you go within that sort of frame of thinking because your purpose is getting a result. And that result, regardless of who you are, what you're about, you have to be responsible and accountable for it. Because, again, I'm not the one to say that the JOS website has been shut down because of them, for them not to practice, to love, your fellow member of the human race. It can be the possibility that it happened, but then at the same time, I'm not the one to say that my words is golden and therefore that's why that happened. But for them to be shut down for X amount of time, it's like either you feel it's because of the Jews or it's because of karma. It's one of those things where you still have to see what you're going to do with it. So that's where I'm at right now. I want to see what they do with that because on the outside, looking at that particular group, I'm concerned. You know what I mean? And seeing that Yahoo group fall down, I have to tell you, when I was a part of that group way back when, it's like hearing the thoughts of these individuals. Some of them was okay, it's not a particular group that you want to hate, because like myself, there are people there that don't exactly agree with everything. They appreciate the unity and, the communication factor of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's something that I could take from and go, okay, great. But however, I really want to put that out there that for those who hate individuals, all I'm saying is try to understand that karma, either you believe it or not that you have to believe it, but things do come back to you. Either it's coincidence or whatever. But being the fact that I'm able to be free, look at Satan and see him as a beautiful dark divine, I have to give my thanks to that particular group or that aspect of that group because I was able to learn from them. And perhaps you friends who are watching see the same thing and you say the same thing because there's something about them that you pretty much feel to be advantageous and you learn from it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I know on my next point with the Joy of Satan group is that upon leaving, I realized their demonolatry is just a bit off. Like, for example, I looked at a lot of their writings and I realized that if you strictly go by it, I'm not saying it's a problem. All I'm saying is that if you look at the facts and look at what other Satanists are saying and what they put out there, even though it is your own gnosis, like for example, Satan to me, when he wants to, he comes to me as a red colored dragon with multiple heads, obviously referring to the book of Revelation. Sometimes he comes in human form, the same sort of picture or likeness to what Maxine will put up on the Joy of Satan website. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's limited to either or, I guess, transformation or form. But when I look at my own gnosis, and upon leaving, Satan and the demons became a lot more different than what that particular group portray the demons. You know what I mean? And when I've developed my own gnosis, like for example, they have a problem with the angels being evil. Now, I don't know what type of angel they're talking about. Either it's from the God of the Bible or whatever. I don't know. It's never specified. All I know is I have Gabriel as a guardian. I haven't, I guess, been insane. I'm not running back and forth, being paranoid. So my point is, looking at my own gnosis, a lot of what has been said, I'm not really living it in such a way where the negatives have taken place, because I look at sources that were unbiased. So when I looked at other Satanists and how they do things, and I saw how happy they are, like I am right now making this video, and how unbiased they are, and they talk about angels and even the God of the Bible, and one, they're not being attacked. Two, I never hear on their YouTube channel or Twitter that an angel visited them to fuck them up. It was just, they just have a guardian who is an angel, and that's as far as it goes. There was no repercussions of it. So my point is, when we think about what a group is producing and getting people to believe what they say, I'm not here to challenge their way of thinking, or to say to get out of that group. I'm saying do your own gnosis, because if you do your gnosis and this particular angel that's a gray that comes out of nowhere and they want to mess with you, then I would have to say that try to interview that particular being or cut off all communication from it, because it's like, how would you to know that that particular being is the same being that the JOS is talking about? It can be any entity. Hence we have astral parasites masquerading as other beings. You get what I'm trying to say? And if you're not clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant, and you can't see or tell or sense, then it's like you have to cut it off. But I'm not going to sit there and say that because I have problems with grays, that means it's belonging to the JOS explanation of it. Now it can be, but that's why I believe that, being that I'm a little bit experienced, I would want to question it. And if that doesn't happen, then I just cut off all communication, banish, because this is something that I wouldn't recommend other people to get involved with, because if something were to happen, it's like, I hope that you hear this message to cut off all communication, because that's something that you don't want to be a part of, because you know very little about. And if you can't tell the difference, then what's the point? But all I know from my own gnosis, my own practices, I know aliens do exist. I've mentioned this before, that even outside of my house here, my window, I see these lights. And no, they're not, police drones, because I have this device where I can detect what's a drone or not, and it always comes up that it is not a drone. And these things will stay there all fucking night, and there'll be a whole slew of them, and it just raises more questions than answers. And that's been going on for many, many years, and these grays never came and attacked. So that's why I'm more skeptical. I leave it that way. I'm not here to say who's right and who's wrong, but it's good to be skeptical, and it's good to say, okay, if the JOS is saying this, then due to my personal experience, is that true? Granted, I have read some articles where people have said that these grays have attacked, they have become paranoid, but that's, and mind you, that's me being at that time in that group, and outside of that group. Like now, as I look at the articles, I feel more or less the same way, where it's like, dude, you're doing something a bit off-putting. It's It's either one or the other. You know what I mean? So it's really up to you to decide what's going on. But all I know as I conclude this video is that I look at the Joy of Satan group, and that sister site, if you will, the Yahoo group, is definitely down. You know, when I was a part of it, I realized every now and then my post would come up. Sometimes it would never come up. Either it's the administrator or I don't know. It's just sometimes it never came up. But I'm not saying it in such a way where it makes the JOS group look bad. I'm saying it where it's like when I think of my particular moments in that particular group, it just I just didn't have an all right time to a point where today I can say I'm still a part of it, because I'm not. And I'm able to notice why other people on the outside say that the group is a bit off-putting. You know, it's like I could be so middle ground to a certain degree, but when I do point out certain areas, it's not like I'm trying to be an asshole. It's more like with the whole idea with me posting. I'm not saying it's evil. I'm not saying it makes the JOS, group looks bad. I'm simply saying, on my personal experience, that I never experienced any grace. I've never experienced my post being put up there most of the time. And even when it was posted, I received good experiences as well as bad. And the bad, I still would have to look at what other people would say on the outside, even on the inside. Meaning, it was quite juvenile. Because even at that point, when I was a part of the group, if it's my own gnosis that I do my ritual and I experience Satan a certain way, who are you to say that I did not? And who are you to say that it was an evil entity, when in fact it wasn't, and I had nothing but a good experience? See, that's me summarizing this video. When you do your own gnosis and you had a good experience with no negative feedback from it for a long time, then stop being dependent on a particular group and saying, hey, look, they're right, therefore I'm right. Because that's confirmation bias. Try to look at both sides. Like, for example, when I looked at both sides, I'm able to exit out of that group and be independent. When I look at other groups, like I look at Become a Living God, I don't have an exact problem with it, but I see what people have wrong with it, but I'm not attacking it because I see it for what it is. It's just an individual really trying to share information. And a lot of the stuff that I read is just haters. Just like people email me and they hate the shit that I do. But that's all it really is. Okay? So be careful with the information that you divulge and you intake, especially on this channel. I love you all. If you see posts in the comments and these people are just being haters, let them be. All that does is that it warms my heart to be seen as the Antichrist and evil, because that means I'm doing the right thing. I'm giving Satan his publicity and the demons. I love you all. Please subscribe. Click that bell icon so that you can see my next and upcoming newest videos. I love you all. Have a good one. Bye.